gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you are hearing. Reporting live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we will know with special meaning. We on it live with no gimmicks. No gimmicks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again, flying solo this week. Welcome to yet another edition of the No Gimmicks podcast, broadcasting on the 3 and Out Radio Network. So a quick shout out to all of our viewers out there for helping myself and my tag team partner Dale surpass over 35,000 views on our YouTube channel. So thanks for all the support. We really appreciate it. So, hey, joining us this week on the No Gimmicks podcast, we have a man who's known as both the Hellhound, also the King of No Rules. This guy is out there in Arizona, and he's somebody you should look out for. Gabe Gallo, what's good, my man? Thank you for joining us on the No Gimmicks podcast this week.
Thanks for having me, Todd. How you doing?
Hey, man, it's great to have you. So, first and foremost, you took a pile driver onto a chair from Don Vitale at a recent AWF show. You've been out of action for a little bit, so we just kind of want to check in with you and see how the recovery process is going and when we can expect the return in the ring from you.
There's no return date yet.
Okay.
I'm still going to therapy and everything. I got something called cervical kyphosis. It's like my spine is bending forward in my neck.
Oh, wow.
And, so they got to like adjust that, and they're all examining options right now. But it's gonna happen. It's just taking time right now.
Right. So it's a matter of when.
It's a bunch of injuries that just got aggravated.
Got you. Cool, man. Hey, so prior to to feuding with Don Vitale, at one point in time, you two were tight. You guys were an alliance, So what exactly went wrong between you two to lead to this this feud that you guys have had?
Honestly, I think the fact that we were so tight all these years was just the fact that we hated each other as much as we hated everybody else, but at least we could get along and hated everybody else more. I think.
Hey, how they say, man, you made better friends, but good friends, but better enemies, right? Is that how it goes?
Well, I mean, we only started teaming really because we got tired of beating each other up, and we decided to beat everybody else up.
That's a good way to vent your frustrations. Hey, so you began training back in 1999. So tell us a little bit about your early days and what it was like, learning from some former WWE superstars such as Mike Knox and Luther Reigns.
Well, they weren't former then. They were
current.
Training.
Yeah.
Well, no, they weren't even. Knox wasn't even in yet.
Okay.
So I had started training in like 98, and I had broken my ankle. I was training with a couple BS bullshit artists out in one of the towns out here, and ankle in their training. So I was out for like a little while, and then I wound up meeting this guy named CC Star out here in Phoenix, and start a new company because there hadn't been a wrestling company out here for a decade or two, and he had Navajo warrior training guys, and Navajo had trained Mike Knox prior to that, and had a hand in horseshoes training Luther Reigns before he went to WCW and into the power plant. So Horseshoes was back in town from when he got let go from WCW and everything, and Knox would come to California, and Nav and Knox and everybody would train at CC's pad where they had the ring set up, and they were training all the guys to get ready for the shows. And I wound up being trained specifically to be Navajo's partner, and so that was really like, there was a bunch of us in a ring all the time squatting because Horseshoe was insane because he was from the power plant, and Knox was calling us all pussies and making us do crazy stuff, which only got worse as the years went on. And Nav would sit by the edge of the ring and just and be like the calm veteran and just sit there and tell us we were all being idiots. So
these guys are just completely running you guys to the ringer, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So,
okay,
but it was hell.
Yeah,
it was hell.
Yeah,
we paid our dues back.
Hey,
so
well,
Navajo would have shows booked all around the states and have his ring rented. And part of us training was that we all had me, Hollywood Yates, and a couple other guys would always have to go hit the road, and we'd be driving the ring, setting it up, tearing it down, maybe getting a match once we were wrestling. Yeah, we were just being the ring crew, and we did that for years, and training in the ring before the show started, and then being back at the school and training there.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do it now.
Now, as they say, man, when you go through something, you know, that's like kind of challenging or whatnot, I guess they say, you know, it builds character, right? Is that what they say?
Yeah. I don't know. With us, like, it was just something that we wanted to do, and we knew we had to do it to get there. And we never, well, no, we did complain about it a lot, actually, but we complained to each other as we did it. And it was just, you know, I don't know. But we did it differently too, because we'd be on tours. Back then, Nav would book like 2-3 week tours with Gator Wolf and everything. We'd be on the Indian reses, and we would be having to all week at the school or wherever we were training at. And then he would get the tour. We would do a show, and then we would take the ring that night, and we would just drive. And we would do like, I think one of the last Indian tours we did was like 2.5 weeks long, and we did like, we maybe had 2 days off. Every day was setting up, tearing down. Wrestling, tearing down wrestling. So, but that was our early days. That was training. That was more important than anything.
Yeah, man, paying dues. Hey, so explain to myself and to our viewers, what's the difference between Hellhound and the King of No Rules, or is there really much of a difference?
Broke up there. What would you say?
So explain to myself and our viewers what exactly are the differences between Hellhound and the King of No Rules, if there actually are any differences between the two that you portray.
Well, the King of No Rules is me, for real, pretty much times 10. Just a bar brawling loudmouth, just pain in the ass, you know, Hellraiser. The Hellhound I developed, it's me too, I guess it is, but it's the Hellhound's a Viking character. He's a Viking, and I kind of associate with that because I'm actually a heathen, so it just feels natural to go in that way, and I get to be as violent and as rough as possible, and I like that too.
Right on.
It's a different character though, because as the King of No Rules is, like I said, it's a bar. I'm a bar brawler. You know, like I've been in a lot of street fights. I grew up on the streets. That's that character. But the Hellhound is the more barbarian version of it, I would say.
Okay.
The Conan version, I would say. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Hey, so now
in the face, or maybe hit you with there. The Hellhound is going to hit you with a battle axe.
All right. Hey, who made that sweet ass leather jacket / wolf like head gear that you wear to the ring? That's pretty badass. Who created that for you?
So, like I said, when I first started wrestling, I was trained as Navajo's partner. And 4 years of my career, I teamed with him as Ghost Walker, and we were the tag team of Native Blood. And we like toured all over Japan and everything with that gimmick, and Mexico and stuff. And dress, we were skinwalkers. That was our character. We were skinwalkers. So we wore wolf skins and had the face paint, you know, and everything. And so the wolf headdress is actually from my first gimmick. Is the headdress from the Native Blood gimmick.
Oh, okay.
From that character. The rest it's literally my leather jacket and the chains that pretty much as people have said to me, they're like, you actually wear this out in public. Oh, I know. It's just my leather jacket with all the chains and everything I normally wear.
Gotcha. Hey, so where did you come up? You mentioned you kind of came up in the streets and whatnot. Like, where exactly were you born and raised at?
You broke up completely. I didn't understand a thing you said.
No problem, Gabe. You had mentioned that you kind of came up in the streets and whatnot. Where were you born and raised?
I was born here in Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got moved. I grew up in a bad neighborhood out here, and really bad neighborhoods, like still one of the worst neighborhoods in town. And then I got moved to. I got actually thrown in front of a car, my elbow broken by a gang down here when I was in 7th grade, and cops were called and all that stuff, and they threatened to like shoot up the neighborhood if anybody said anything. So I wound up getting shipped up to a small town in northern Arizona, Prescott, where my dad lived, and trouble. And well, that small town wound up being the worst place to grow up because there was nothing to do but get in the worst we think of up there. So there was literally nothing to do but fight, fuck, and drink and do drugs.
Hey, man. Hey, that sounds like a good time.
It was fun, but it wasn't exactly the most wholesome environment,
Right. Brother, I lived in Reno, Nevada for 15 years, so I know about a few of those things myself.
But it was cool because like it made me tough for like what I wanted to do later. Like everything I went through back then, growing up and fighting and even when I was younger, getting beat up really bad all the time in the really bad neighborhood down here in Phoenix and everything. It really just made it like so I was determined. Like when I actually started training and started wrestling, like that was where I got all that ability to do it.
Got you.
Plus it kind of made me kind of athletic when I was younger, being able to run away real fast from like 10 people.
Hey, so now you've been a part of a number of tag teams and stables over the years. So if you had to choose one, which would you say has been your favorite and why?
It would definitely have to be me and Dom. We were the team to be part of, just because we were close. Like we didn't have to say anything to each other in the ring. We just did it. We really worked well together. Everything was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed beating the hell out of everybody together. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that I would say he was the best one. That's probably why we like to beat each other up as much too, is because we also both know that we're both tough sons of bitches. So we're the toughest people to find. So why not just fight each other?
Yeah, so the chemistry was there, and like I said, y'all like going head to head with one another. So yeah, so that can definitely make for a long relationship or friendship there. So now, hey, you've competed for several companies, both stateside and also outside the U.S. in both Japan and Mexico. So if you had to choose, which do you prefer, being here, in the U.S. or kind of going abroad to beat the hell out of people?
Being wrestling here or abroad, I love Japan. I loved wrestling. I love wrestling abroad actually more. I gotta say that. Yeah, Europe, Japan, all that was great. Canada was great. I don't know. I just like going and seeing all the different cultures out there.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing all the old. Like I'm a huge history, so like out there, like we have history here, but it's nothing like out there. There's centuries and centuries of history. That's cool. I dig all that stuff. Plus the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got into it, was to travel. To get paid to go and do what you do. That's why I did it. So I definitely like travel. I like the wrestling up here.
Okay. Cool, man. Yeah, I've been over to Europe myself, and like you said, you made a valid point. I mean, America really is a newer country when you think of it, compared to some of the civilizations, like abroad. I mean, like I saw, when I went over there to Italy, I got to go to the Colosseum over in Rome. That was like one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I got to tour around Berlin and everything and see where my first trip out there. Both trips were during Oktoberfest. One of the first trip though, I went out there and I was in Berlin for German Reunification Day, the day the wall fell down.
Oh wow!
And I was standing on the Berlin Wall where it used to stand. It was pretty cool. Stuff like yeah. I went to the museum there and they have the entire Greek city built inside there, stone by stone. You know, they had the walls of the gates of Ishtar from Babylon's there in one of the halls. It was cool. I like that kind of stuff. So
Right on, man.
we don't have cool stuff we don't have a lot cool like that out here,
no.
at least not in Arizona.
You go down to Cali, you have In-N-Out burger, right? And all that stuff, you know. Hey,
we got a lot of ruins, you know, Indian ruins and stuff, but those are all dusty and like clay.
Hey, so which would you say you prefer, man? If you had a preference, do you enjoy working more as a heel or as a face?
I do either. Great. I don't know. I like being me, which is basically I like beating people up. So I guess you'd have to say I'm more of a heel. I really don't have like, I don't know, heel, face, good guy, bad guy. Want people to cheer me, I'll make them cheer me but I really don't care if they cheer me ever. Honestly, I much more enjoy their hatred. I guess that answers that question.
Okay. Hey, so who would you consider as your idols and inspirations? Like, you know, as you were a kid growing up, like who did you say, hey, I want to emulate them, I want to be like them when I grow up, that kind of thing?
Wrestling wise or real?
Wrestling wise, yes.
I always dug Bret Hart. I always liked the Legion of Doom. Pretty much everybody from my generation would always say, like, I guess Bret Hart and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. That's who I don't know. I didn't really have. I would say Undertaker was always like, I guess Undertaker just because he was always a tough son of a bitch, and I like that dark persona.
Man. Yeah.
But it would really, I think, it would be those three, just because I would like to think I took some of the characteristics from all those three. Just Bret Hart was such a great technician in the ring. Everything he did, whatever it was just made sense, and he was good. And then Shawn Michaels had all the athletic ability and all the speed, and then Undertaker had the scary persona and the entrance that went for days. And he had all. I don't know. I think those three probably.
Okay.
Those are the three I try to think of if I'm looking for something to, you know, grow on.
Got you. Hey, so what has been your bloodiest encounter that you've had inside the ring? Because it sounds like you had some crazy encounters outside the ring as well. I mean, like, if you can remember, like, the bloodiest encounter that you've had, and who lost more blood, you or them?
I would say it's a tie between either me versus Almighty Sheik at Mex PW in LA. Me versus Frenchie Riviera in a stretcher match at Toby Keith's for Elite Extreme Wrestling. Probably the Frenchie one, I think, because he was actually bleeding too in that one. We both got cracked open really good.
Okay.
But I was burning in both. I was like, at one point they thought they were gonna have to stop the match with me and Frenchie because they thought I was spitting blood out of my mouth because it was pouring everywhere. Man. And it was just spraying. The one with me versus Sheik, he spiked me, and then as he was yanking me out from underneath the bottom rope, I into the side of the ring post, and I split like a 2-inch gash on the top of my head, which I still have this giant scar.
Damn, man. Damn.
It bled worse than the death match that night, and the death match was Supreme versus Messiah.
2 XPW guys. I'm familiar.
Yeah, they were the headliners, and I was more bloody than all them, I think. It was drenched.
Wow.
It just went everywhere.
That's on the Muda scale, man. That's what it sounds like to me.
It's pretty gross. It was pretty gross.
Hey, so I know you said who you felt your idols and inspirations were. So when I took a look at the picture, like when you had all your gear on and everything, I just could not stop thinking. I said, this dude, he reminds me of one of my favorites, and that was Perry Saturn. Do you ever get that comparison at all?
In that, I didn't hear the beginning of your question. It cut out again.
You gave me who your idols and inspirations were, But one of the people who I saw, like when I took a look at your pits that you shared with me for the promotions and whatnot, I said, this dude kind of has a similar look to Perry Saturn. Has anybody told you that?
I haven't been told that, but it's funny because me and Dom, when we first started teaming, we were huge Eliminator marks.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And actually, like, one of the things we did when we first started originally teaming was it was me, him, and Frenchie, because I've been feuding with all three, or both of them. All three of us were feuding, and then we wound up teaming up. But after Frenchie moved away, me and Dom kept the team going, and our thing was we started wearing similar, like we would take the designs of gear we like wanted of wrestlers we liked, and we would wrestle like them that night. So like we had like Chris gear, and we would go out and actually like stretch people in the ring. Nice. And we wore Eliminator gear, and we love the Eliminators gear, and we love the Eliminators. So we even worked out our own version of the total elimination, where Dom would do the leg sweep, Dom would do an enziguri to their face.
Dope, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I tried doing the Cronus version of it, but I'm not as athletic as Cronus, and I would always hurt my ass on their face. So therefore they get kicked in the face. But that's actually cool that you said that, because I forgot about that. Like that Perry Saturn was awesome. We dug the Eliminators, everything they did. They were like no bullshit, like real tag out there, and just laid a whooping.
Yeah,
and that's what we like to do. So that's awesome.
Because not enough people appreciate them as a tag team, man. Without getting too far off track here, I just gotta say this: those guys, I still say, are one of the most underappreciated tag teams, maybe of about the past like few decades. Because
the Eliminators,
I say so because it just seems like maybe it's because they didn't stay together for very long. You know, like when most people think of like, you know, the best tag team, they think of like, you know, the Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors. They think of like guys like, you know, the Heart Foundation or like the Midnight Express or whatnot. Those guys just don't get the props they deserve. I mean, do you agree with that?
No, the Eliminators were amazing.
I mean,
they sure they probably would have stayed together longer if Perry hadn't gone to WCW.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. They were a great team. I love the Eliminators. I like to steal all their stuff.
I used to Perry. I used to play FirePro. They were my favorite tag team to use on FirePro. I always created Perry and John Cronus, whatever version of FirePro I played, if that counts for anything.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a video game thing. I'm a nerd, man. Hey,
I don't play video games. I don't know.
It's all good. It's all good. It's not for everybody. Hey, so getting back on track.
Did you see how long it took me to get this phone thing to work? And you think I can play a video game?
Right. But we worked together as a team. We figured it out, though. See. Hey, what made you choose the chain as your weapon of choice?
It's just natural. Like, I just like chains. We always used to, when we were kids, one of the things we used to do is we would wear chains around our shoulders of our jackets, and if we got into a big scuffle or anything, you would hit the tops of your flaps that clip down on your jackets, and the chain would just roll into your hands, and you had instant weapons. So it's just something I just grew up with, and I just transcended it into my character.
Nice.
I'm a huge horror movie mark, and I love Hellraiser.
Pinhead.
It's so scarier to me than like a chain shooting out of nowhere, you know? So that's part of the psychological reason too, I guess.
Hey, so then you're a big horror movie fan, kind of like myself. They have rumored this, but it seems like they never moved forward with it. You know, they kept on doing like the versus movies and whatnot. So they finally gave us Freddy versus Jason. And there was a rumor at one point in time that they were going to do like some sort of a movie. I think it was going to have like Freddy and I think Michael Myers and Pinhead. Did you ever hear about that?
I heard something about that, but I don't know how they would. I don't know how they could do that without making it super corny.
I mean, because they found a way to get Freddy and Jason together, you know, because if you read the comments that actually have Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from Evil Dead, they actually had it to where Freddy actually got with Jason's mom, and that's how Jason was created. That's how they related it, all together in the comics. They didn't go that way in the movie, though.
That still would be corny if they made it into a movie like that.
Yeah,
but they should definitely make though an Ash versus anybody movie, because Ash is awesome.
Yes,
and I would love to see one-liners between Ash and Freddy. That would be amazing.
Oh, dude, that would be so badass. Do you watch the show? Do you watch Ash versus Evil Dead on Stars?
Occasionally. One of these days I'll binge watch it.
Yeah, definitely. It stays very true to the movies, man. Gore factor and everything, because it's on Stars. They could get away with all the gory stuff. So, yeah, definitely check that one out.
I watched the first season. Ash I liked it. I dig Evil Dead. That's like one I grew up with. So I like all that stuff.
Cool, man. So now, if you could change anything about indie wrestling or how people perceive pro wrestling in general, what would you change about it, and why?
That's a question that has a lot of. That's something I go off about a lot, actually. But the biggest thing I would say is I would like everyone to this again, as far as the wrestlers go, and the promoters and the bookers. They need to remember it's a business. Like most these shows, I swear they're the promoter doing what makes him happy. And I mean, I guess that's good. It's his money, but me being like a real pro wrestler, like I want to get paid more. And like I'm sorry, like the work is work. You want to get raises, you want to make more. So it's hard for me to get more money out of a company if they're not drawing at the gate, and that's that company and doing my best to tickets, start and advertise and promote and do their stuff too, and then the wrestlers in the back, they need to take it more seriously, from just what I've seen of I'm not naming anybody in particular. I'm just saying like there's very people, like I know there are good schools out there, but I know especially here in Arizona, the problem is these guys train for 2-3 months and then they get thrown on shows. And then why do they want to keep training? They're on shows already. They're wrestlers. They know everything. They know a headlock. They're taught like more like it's for the.
Yeah, man. Yeah, trust me.
Money in the back that controls the pay window. I don't care if I'm the most popular person on the internet. I don't care. I care about to pay his bills or something. Don't look at it like that. They now the big thing is the term passion. Passion for the business.
Mm-hmm.
Passion. That's why I do stupid stuff in the ring for $20 a night. And I'm like, no, dude. Like back in my day, passion was what you used to get through training. And to hustle your way, being booked and paid and flown out and getting more, making your value more and increasing your value and increasing your ticket sales so that you make more money and increase your value more. That's what passion was back in my day. Not anymore, and that's the whole state of the. There's very few indies out there, I think, that even look at it like that. Like I said, there's a couple, like. I know on the East Coast, I'm not that familiar with it, but obviously ROH tries to make money, and CZW and them, and then there's All Pro Wrestling. They're on. They're busting their ass trying to actually. That's did that and work and thought of it like a business like that, and that helps all of them.
Right.
They're consistent about what they're worth. Work harder to make more money. Sorry, my little rant.
Gotcha. Hey,
rant from a. I was trained. This is pro wrestling, Pro wrestling. I didn't train to be a pro wrestler to do it as a hobby. You know what I mean? That was, and luckily over the years, I've been able to actually say I've made money or survive. Sometimes not saying I made money, but enough to survive off of. You know? But I wish more people would do that. You know what I mean? It's why you wrestle. I don't wrestle, you know. If I was going to play baseball, I wouldn't just want to play baseball outside for fun. Just because I like it. I'd like to get paid for it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So. Hey, so I got a social media question for you from Charles Porter, who's from Instagram. And he wanted me to ask you, when will the Bullies make a return to the Best of the West promotion out there in Cali?
Well, considering the fact Bullies are feuding with each other right now, I don't know. Since Hammerstone and Graves are trying to kill each other in future stars of wrestling and kill each other out here in Arizona, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But
okay,
who knows?
Who knows? Hey, things go in cycles, right? So at this point in time, Gabe, we would like to give you the opportunity to promote your, any upcoming appearances that you might have or any projects which you're involved in. At this time, I would like to give you the floor. The floor is yours.
Project I'm involved in is just getting this neck fixed, so I can get back and, do what I do. That's really the only thing that I'm focused on right now.
Right on, man. So
I can't say anything. I don't know what's going on, So.
I hear you, man. Hey, so also, please tell our viewers how they can keep in contact with you on social media.
You can on my Facebook, just like you can pretty much just rules or Gabriel Gallo and find me at Instagram. I got Twitter, Facebook. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably the worst person on all that stuff because I'll just post stuff and then not look at it ever.
I don't think you're the only one who's guilty of that, Gabe.
Lives by my phone or anything right now, but you can find me on there, like my Instagram. It's the King of No Rules.
Right on, man.
But my Facebook, there's my King of No Rules on Facebook, and then there's just Gabriel Gallo on Facebook. You can find me on there.
Good stuff.
I tend long rants on Facebook though. The state of the business or things like that. So if you do want to be entertained, that is probably something you should pay attention to, because I might not post often, but when I do, it's usually one that is pretty funny.
It's something people should pay attention to. Yeah, man.
Or I hope it mad that it was actually targeted at you, I guess. I don't know. That's the way I look. If you laugh at it, then it's actually, true.
Right. Good stuff, man. Hey, so it's been a pleasure having you here on the No Gimmicks podcast. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. One thing is for sure, I wish I could sit here and talk with the King of No Rules all night long, but unfortunately we have came to the end of this episode of the No Gimmicks podcast. So thank you everyone for tuning in for our interview with Gabe Gallo, aka Hellhound, King of No Rules. Gabe, it's been a pleasure having you, brother.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Definitely. We are No Gimmicks, no image, all wrestling, all the time. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share our videos.
No gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you are hearing. Important live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we will know with special meaning. We on it live with no gimmicks.